Hello, and welcome to this edition of Fulton Justice. I'm your host, Yolanda Lewis, District Court Administrator for the Atlanta Judicial Circuit. This program is dedicated to providing you with resources, information, and a closer look at how our justice system works for you. Today, we'll discuss the extraordinary work being done in the first DUI specialty court at the Municipal Court of Atlanta. Alcohol-impaired driving is one of America's most frequently committed crimes and one of the deadliest. In 2013, Georgia law enforcement officials throughout the state made more than 25,000 DUI arrests. For drivers 21 years of age or older, a DUI is committed when an individual is pulled over and their blood alcohol content is measured at a 0.08% or higher. In 2012, according to the National Highway and Safety Administration, there were 301 alcohol-impaired driving fatalities in the state of Georgia. In today's show, we will speak with the Honorable Christopher E. Ward, who is a judge in the Municipal Court of Atlanta. We will discuss his roles and duties as the presiding judge of the city's only specialty DUI division. Judge Ward was appointed to the court in 2012 by Mayor Kasim Reed and joins 8 other jurors on the municipal court bench. As a native of Atlanta, he takes great pride in his community and truly enjoys making a difference as a jurist in this city. Stay tuned as we discuss Atlanta's specialty DUI court and how its creation has made a significant impact on the city of Atlanta and Fulton County. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Joining us now is Judge Christopher Ward, who serves on the Municipal Court of Atlanta as presiding judge of its DUI division. Welcome, Judge Ward.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Thank you for having me on behalf of Chief Judge Herman Sloan and the other judges of the Municipal Court of Atlanta. Once again, thank you for having me, ma'am.
We appreciate you being here. Now, we're going to talk about a wonderful division that you're presiding over, the DUI division for Atlanta. But tell us a little bit about your role as a judge and, your day-to-day responsibilities.
Okay. I am the current presiding judge of the DUI division of the City of Atlanta, Municipal Court of Atlanta, pardon me. Mm-hmm. I handle all DUI offenses that occur in the City of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. On a day-to-day basis, Monday through Thursday, we have court 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. We entertain motions on behalf of the defense or the city. Mm-hmm. We have bench trials in the City Court, Municipal Court of Atlanta, forgive me. On a daily basis, as I stated, we conduct court proceedings as well. The court reviews motions, handles issues of scheduling, attend meetings for the betterment and enhancement of the court and its processes. And we have full days, though we're only in court on average about 4 to 5 hours a day.
And the City of Atlanta's, our court here is one of the largest courts still in the state of Georgia.
The Municipal Court of Atlanta handles about 250,000 cases a year. On record, I believe Municipal Court of Atlanta is the largest municipal court in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, really busy.
Very busy.
Really busy. Now, I know we're going to talk a little bit about the work that you do, but you're a native of Atlanta.
That is correct.
And so this is kind of full circle. You're passionate about the work that you do because you're a native. Tell us a little bit about when you came onto the bench and a little bit about why you're so passionate about what you do every day.
First and foremost, I'm passionate about service to the public. The majority of my career has been in the public service with government. I started off as a public defender with the Fulton County PD's office back in 1998, and I was at that office for about 2 years prior to moving over to the Fulton County District Attorney's office. I served at the Fulton County DA's office for a period of seven and a half years. After that, went to a electrical utility company, served as in-house counsel for about 5 years. During that 5-year period, I was also a pro bono judge with the Fulton County Juvenile Court. Once again, service is very important to me. Throughout high school, college, law school, and my professional career, I have contributed my time in the betterment of our youth in our community. Many programs that were sponsored or that are currently sponsored by the DA's office, the Junior DA's program, the mock trial program, I think it's called the Legal Lives program. Right. I've participated in mentoring, tutoring, and public speaking to at-risk youth throughout my life. And service, once again, is a very important aspect of my life. I think, particularly for individuals like myself that were born and raised in this community, it's incumbent to, for lack of a better expression, to give back.
Right.
I've served on the Municipal Court of Atlanta since July 2012. I was appointed by Mayor Reed and was re-elected in November 2013 for another 4 years of service to the citizens of the, thank you, citizens of the city of Atlanta and state of Georgia. It's been a lifelong aspiration to serve as a judge. I'm living my dreams every day.
That's important.
Yes, yes.
That's important. So let's talk about a little bit about the work that you do every day with this DUI division. That's a specialized division for Atlanta. Talk a little bit about the benefits of having a program like this as part of our city infrastructure.
It's very important to have, particularly in the Municipal Court of Atlanta, with the frequency of cases that we hear every year and on a daily basis, to have a specialized DUI division for these cases that I consider to be the most serious cases that we handle in the courthouse, because of the possibility that someone could lose their life or receive serious bodily injury as a result of someone driving under the influence. When we have a specialized unit, it provides structure, it lays the groundwork for expectations, and having specialized prosecutors, defense counsel, and the court assist in the effective and efficient operation of the court and the management of the cases.
It helps all of us. So let me ask you a little bit about, you mentioned about having specialized prosecutors and specialized staff that support this division. Is that a part of, has that always been a part of the court, or is that something, is this new to the city of Atlanta?
The city of Atlanta has always, or to the best of my knowledge, for many years has had a specialized unit. So we have family court, we have community court, which consists of the TLC program, Teens Learning Control, a restorative justice board. We have a housing court. We also have the DUI division, and also parking court. So we have
I know a lot about parking court.
But we do have specialized divisions based upon these, these cases.
Right.
And once again, I think it's very important for cases that have unique characteristics that they be handled together for, once again, the effective, efficient operations of the court.
Now, I know that you see a lot of cases over the course of the year. How many of these cases are actually repeat offenders, like people who, and I say offenders, but we'll talk a little bit about the type of people that you see in a second. But how many of these individuals or cases that come back you've seen the person in those cases before?
Well, I can tell you in the year since January 2013 that I've been presiding over the DUI cases in the Municipal Court of Atlanta, I can count on one hand the repeat offenders that we've seen over the past 16, 17 months. I owe that, or I think it is because we handle these matters within a 6-month time frame. And by doing so, by engaging the defendants in the process and not allowing the cases to languish anywhere up to 2 years before the defendant has to come to court and be accountable for it, I think that says a lot.
It does.
They understand the consequences of their actions, the accountability that they're held to, but as well, once they enter a plea, have a bench trial in the Municipal Court of Atlanta, the sentencing imposed by the court, as well as the whole process, hopefully brings them to the understanding that, by making a right decision, they will not end up in jail as a result of a DUI arrest and having ultimately to come to court.
Now, 2 things you mentioned I want to just follow up on. One was about the sentences. What type of sentences do you typically give for the offense of driving under the influence? And does it matter how many times you've been before the court as to whether your sentence is different or not?
Well, in the Municipal Court of Atlanta, and pursuant to statute, most of the pleas have certain conditions: community service, drug evaluation and treatment, victim impact panel with Mothers Against Drunk Driving organization, DUI risk reduction. If appropriate, potential sentence could possibly be random drug testing, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous meetings. The solicitors and the prosecutors on the city level and the defense counsel work through negotiating offers and plea recommendations, and if reasonable and based upon the circumstances, the court will accept a plea if deemed appropriate.
And so the second piece is the conviction rate. So we were just kind of chatting about that, so you know that it's going to be different depending on what the statute suggests, that the sentence that you should get. But what's your conviction rate?
The conviction rate?
I guess the number of people, when people are coming before the court, do you often find that you divert them to this track for treatment, or is it that they've come before the court so many times that you have to penalize them for their repeat offense?
Once again, it depends upon the facts and circumstances of the case. First-time offender may receive minimal community service and other requirements pursuant to the sentence, while others may have increased penalties for repeat offenses.
And just as a mention, we were going to talk about, this is one of the things we were talking about a little bit earlier. People typically think whenever you go to court, some people have, and particularly if you're there for some type of underlying alcohol or drug offense, that there's a certain look of the person that should be there. What type of people do you see coming before the court that have DUI offenses?
Well, in the DUI court, the typical defendant, the defendants that we see range in all levels of socioeconomic status. In our society, they different levels of sophistication. Anyone that basically has a driver's license and drinks and drives is a candidate for being arrested for driving under the influence. So we see all types of citizens that come through the court.
I think that's important.
There's no typical look, if you will, of from my experience, a typical DUI defendant.
Yeah, that's very important for people to know. There's no typical look for a person who has this type of offense.
That is correct.
Thank you, Judge. This has been really good. We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're continuing our discussion with Judge Christopher Ward, and we've been talking about the DUI Division, Judge, with your court. So let's talk a little bit about the advocacy groups, because you mentioned this earlier. We were talking about MAD and the different organizations that you work with your court. Tell us a little bit about your work with them. Well,
to protect the neutrality of the court and to avoid any appearances of impropriety, though we may have a MAD, someone from the Mothers Against Drunk Driving organization come in court to monitor. As I understand, that's a practice that they have. They go to different courts throughout the jurisdictions just to get a sense of the sentences and the nature of the cases. Once again, to protect the neutrality and the appearances of impropriety, we have no contact, on a regular basis with the Mothers Against Drunk Driving organization or any of those entities, though we are appreciative of the work and the efforts that they do with regard to reducing drunk driving offenses and the incidents of death experienced on the road as a result of driving under the influence. Don't work closely with those outside groups on a continuing or a consistent basis. They may have dinners or balls or so forth that they invite us to attend, but because justice and the administration of justice is paramount.
Absolutely.
Though good intentions may be present, once again, to respect neutrality.
And let me just ask you a question. You mentioned that they may come in and observe the court on their own. Are those groups vocal at any point in the hearings, or is it just simply observation on their part?
Simply observation.
Okay.
In my experience, I have not had anyone from an advocacy organization speak in court. In court, it is the defendant's day, and the process dictates that the city, the solicitor, and the defendant and the defendant's counsel present information to the court. Right. So with regard to any comments or observations to be made to the court, in my experience, that has not happened.
Now, interestingly enough, you have a DUI advisory task force, which means that you all have been working on this issue of DUI and how to specialize your services for a while, and there's a final report, I understand, that has been issued. Tell us a little bit about this task force and who served on it.
Under the leadership of then Chief Judge Crystal A. Gaines in the Municipal Court of Atlanta back in, I believe, January 2001, to address the issues of efficiency and effectiveness with regard to handling of the DUI matters in the city of Atlanta, Judge Gaines, in her wisdom, put together the DUI task force. And the stakeholders present in the system, police officers, law enforcement, solicitors, defense counsel, probation, judges, even IT personnel were involved in meetings that occurred on a regular basis from January to June to come up with recommendations to assist the court in the efficient and effective handling of DUI matters in the city of Atlanta. That report was issued in June 2011.
Okay.
And when I was given the task of taking on the DUI cases, I referenced that report and the recommendations of the task force and implemented a system in which we now, I'm proud to say, have realized much success and achievement in the effective and efficient operation of the court. I will tell you that not only are we operating on the recommendations of the DUI task force, the task force also relied upon recommendations from reputable legal institutions such as the American Bar Association, National Judicial College, National Center for State Courts, in the proper way to handle the cases that involve DUIs in the Municipal Court of Atlanta. I can tell you, we have a 98% compliance rate with regard to the handling of the cases and DUI cases in Municipal Court of Atlanta. Our oldest case, Ms. Lewis, at this time is 6 months old.
Wow.
In a period of 5 months, we addressed a backlog of 1,200 cases dating back to 2005. Once again, a 98% compliance rate. Despite our efforts, despite the efforts of Mothers Against Drunk Driving organization and other agencies, on any given Monday, and I say this a lot, on any given Monday, we have anywhere from 40 to 129 new DUI arrests that occur in the city of Atlanta. So with that frequency of cases, it's incumbent upon the court in the service to the citizens of the city of Atlanta and those defendants charged with these offenses to handle the matters in the most effective and efficient manner. And I think that we have not done so. We're on the well way to doing that.
And I think that that's really critical, what you just mentioned about the number of cases that you see on any given Monday, because I think it highlights the concept that not only are you trying to do justice, but it's very important to note that with that many cases coming into the court, that is potentially impacting a lot of lives. I mean, to be honest, we always hear about a person having an accident because they were under the influence of alcohol. And so to see that many cases coming in and to know that you're handling them so quickly, you're really, in a sense, making an effort to save lives.
And correct. And I would say anyone that has a DUI offense in the city of Atlanta, and their case ends up in courtroom 5A in Municipal Court of Atlanta, Linwood Jackson building, they're lucky. Because if circumstances had been any different, they would be up the street in state court or superior court for causing serious bodily injury, which occurs every 90 seconds in this country, or causing the death of someone or family, which occurs every 60 minutes in this country. Once again, we feel it important to engage these defendants in the procedures and processes of the court, so that hopefully, once again, they would, refrain from getting behind the wheel after reaching the level of intoxication once again. So we take our duties very seriously. The solicitors, defense counsel, courtroom, court staff give 110% every day, because it's so very vital and important to the safety and well-being of our citizens and those that may travel in the city of Atlanta.
Absolutely. Now, talk a little bit about the 180-day plan that's part of, I guess, the task force final report and your recommendations. How does that case management plan work for your court, and why is it so critical to have, we talk about the National Center for State Courts always talk about having good case management practices in place.
Right.
How does this suffice as a good case management plan for what you do every day?
Well, as in any endeavor, organization is paramount. Organization is the guide and the framework for which you proceed. These are specialized cases, and in that regard, we have to have a uniform manner in which we deal with them. So in that regard, under the DUI case flow management plan, it is the goal of the court to resolve any case that comes before the court within a 6-month time frame. We start off with arraignment. Normally that's 24 to 48 hours after arrest. At that time, the defendant is made aware of the charges pending against him or her. And at that time, the question of the court is, do they have any questions concerning those charges? We, at arraignment, also deal with bond. We also deal with whether or not the defendant can hire an attorney. In that regard, if the defendant can hire an attorney, we will reset the case for anywhere from 2 weeks to a month to formally engage legal counsel. If they cannot afford an attorney, and if they qualify under the federal property guidelines, the court will appoint an attorney to represent them. After arraignment, we have status. At that time, once again, the case is set from arraignment to status to determine legal representation. After status, you have anywhere from 30 to 45 days. That's the inquiry calendar or inquiry hearings. At that point, the city must report to the court the status of the evidence. Defense counsel makes any matters known to the court, and simply, as the title dictates, we inquire as to the status of the case and where we need to move from that point. After inquiry, the last phase is final plea. Final plea, the first final plea setting is 60 days after the date of arrest. At that time, the court expects an announcement from the city if all evidence has been received and tendered to defense, whether they will dismiss the case. The defendant can enter a plea. The defendant can opt for a bench trial, and in that regard, the court will hear any motions and set the matter down for trial. 2005 was the last year in which the Municipal Court of Atlanta had jury trials. At that time, City of Atlanta, the courts in City of Atlanta had the distinction of original jurisdiction. The only municipality in the state of Georgia that had that classification and could have jury trials.
Right.
Now, jury trials are grounded in the constitutional right. Bindovers are grounded in the constitutional right to a jury trial. So if any defendant exercises that right, we must bind the case over to the higher court for a jury trial. So that is the way that the cases, pretty much flow through the program. We have a 98% compliance rate. We provide the solicitor of Fulton County State Court or the appropriate jurisdiction the appropriate amount of time to get the file from the City of Atlanta court, and in that regard, they have the appropriate amount of time to prosecute the case prior to the statute tolling.
That's really good information, and I appreciate you being here. And once again, I appreciate you for all the work that you do in the administration of justice, but also helping us save lives every day. So I appreciate the work that you do.
Well, thank you, ma'am. And you perform a valuable service as well, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, I appreciate you entertaining me for this amount of time, and anytime I'll come back.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Fulton Justice. We would like to thank our guests for joining us today and for sharing firsthand knowledge about the DUI court at the Municipal Court of Atlanta. Fulton County ranks number 1 out of 10 counties for DUI arrests and convictions in Georgia. Throughout the state, specialty court judges and law enforcement officials, along with organizations such as MAD, are working diligently to bring awareness to this issue. Each entity shares the common goal to stop drunk driving, to support the victims of these crimes, and to prevent underage drinking in an effort to safeguard our communities and enhance our quality of life. We appreciate the efforts of Judge Ward and his contribution to the safety and well-being of citizens of Atlanta and Fulton County. For more information about the Municipal Court DUI Specialty Program, please visit www.atlantagA.gov. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Fulton Justice. I'll see you next time.